inland, and there are houses that are underwater back there. There are houses that are not underwater but are simply hard to get to, and you can see some of the boats that are going. Very active scene last night and overnight hours. I spoke to a couple people that came here from Mississippi with a fishing boat. They arrived last night. They started pulling people out about at 6 o'clock. They worked until 4 o'clock in the morning, got about 3 hours of sleep, and then we just saw them pull people out. There were some people they simply could not get to yesterday because of darkness or because of time, or in some cases these areas are just straight.
She stays about 4 miles. 74 years old, diabetic. The last thing we want is something to happen and no one can get to her. So
her house is dry though, right? There's just no way to get in or out.
Yes, correct. Her house, the water's up to about on her townhome, and it's just no way to get into there comfortably without a lot of multiple options in order to move her about there. And so we kind of worked this way, but not knowing, how bad the side roads had been. We stay maybe 4 miles up the Beltway heading north, and our neighborhood is just fine. You can get in and out, but like I said, this is a very high flood area, and so they wanted to kind of stick it out. Didn't think it was going to get too bad, and so hindsight sit on us like this that tough. So
have you been able to talk to her on the phone? How is she feeling?
She's feeling good. I think the funny part, she's actually calming down because her daughter lives with her, and she's calming her down more than the vice versa. So she's actually had a calm head about herself, and she understands it's a process and it takes time. And so so she's very patient right now, and just like I say, hoping and praying that somebody shows up. And like I say, we're hoping and praying the same. But we also understand it's a process, just because where she sits is a very tight neighborhood to get to, and it's not power, no, but bottled water, things like that. She has that. But like I said, we're just more worried about the medicine side of it, especially with offices going to be closed here for a little while. So not knowing what her situation is on dosage, if she's got enough to maintain for the next few days.
I understand you
from that standpoint, but once again, we don't know, how deep that is. We understand as fast as they can, and so we appreciate all the work they've done. Even some guys who actually yesterday helped us get almost close to her, but once we got there, the boats couldn't go any further, and so which is probably the craziest thing to say, but can't get back there because the water is not high enough. So, like I say, hey, we're going to still keep praying and keep hoping for the best.
Yeah, and we'll send our prayers as well. Thanks for talking to me, Donald. And Pamela, we've been hearing this over and over again. You just heard it from Donald there, and I heard it from some first responders and some, some of those private citizens with boats as well, that part of the challenge here is that it's almost like a bit of a relay race to hand people off. At some points the water's too shallow for boats, and so you need a high water vehicle. In other places it's too deep for the high water vehicles, so you need to hand off to a boat. And so people might take 2 or 3 boats or vehicles in order to actually get from their homes a couple miles back to this underpass where they're eventually taken either to friends' houses or to local shelters.
Back to Houston officials to update us on the flood situation and the ongoing rescue efforts. As soon as that news conference begins, of course, we will take you there. And now let's turn it over to CNN's Rosa Flores. She is at the convention center where nearly 10,000 evacuees are staying. So what is the latest from there, Rosa?
Well, Pamela, I want to introduce you to Isaac Sandoval. He and his wife were rescued, but their family was separated. They have 4 children, ages 3, 7, 10, and 11. And he was telling me he has to be separated. He said so he's asking for people.
Well, first thing, I was rescued after 6-7 hours when we started asking for help. And when we got help, a boat, the people where we were living called friends, and one of those friends came with a boat. But it was kind of small, so they trying to save children and women first. So we had to be separate, and that's what the stressful part started on my heart, because to see my kids and my wife going and not be sure where they were going to be safe. But after that, we have to wait 8 more hours to be rescued.
Tell me about that wait. How difficult was it, not knowing if your children, if your wife are okay, and knowing that you still hadn't been rescued?
Well, in that situation, you know, what